in the first one. Remember that? Well, this one was the.
They just went down the regular street.
Yeah, there was down by the old train station.
You got room there?
They had it, and now the train station's like I think Ford or GM took it over, and it's amazing. Like they had this
I could change
crazy
that.
building. It was like probably 40 stories high. The architecture unbelievable, and it was just all dilapidated. And they went in and fixed it. Now it's like awesome. Yeah, they put a lot of money. Once they got Kwame in there, it's like he was the big crook, right?
Oh yeah.
The mayor was like a total thief.
Doesn't help
Yeah,
situations.
they had a few of those guys in a row. So
Okay. Yeah.
Those trees down there, golf course.
Yeah. I noticed. Have you been up there? Oh yeah, like they're still just kind of stacked around and stuff. Yeah. So.
Or they getting cleaned up.
It's
I
not
mean,
even
they're
a
getting
22
cleaned
yet.
up.
It's-
Yeah, like they were like in piles, but all still all over where they were.
He wants to be able to.
Yeah, there's
Just
three or
turn it
four
off
different
when
spots
it's
where there's pretty big
Oh,
trees
so
came
the
down.
sound's
We were
not
talking.
there.
Yeah.
Monty was sitting there
And I
trying to tell
bet you
your
we could
dad
move
that
that
they
whole
should
building,
use it for something.
you know, somewhere else.
Definitely
Big
right
yellow
where I'm
pine.
sitting.
You know,
Is
use
it?
it rots.
Well, I mean,
Oh yeah, yeah, he'll.
yeah.
Oh, well, you could do
I mean,
this.
if we were to offer a free land, that might just pull the trigger. So,
I love
just
it. It's
incorporate
way better to go have coffee with your dad. than
yeah.
it
Oh,
keeps them in line.
that would even be better actually.
He doesn't get so angry.
I saw the new house the other day. I was driving up there. I went up and
like
took
it.
some returnables up, and it's, you're right, like that is a whole lot longer. Like what a difference.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Where I really noticed it was when you opened the, like, where they serve the hockey bag and stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
lots of extra space.
To me, that's where, the 5 feet.
Grab the,
That's valuable space.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Carrie, it's 10 minutes before. Grab the-
Just dying for someone to get finished with the design.
Yeah, I wonder who that would be. Yeah, is he just not getting on it? His priorities are somewhere else, are they?
Yeah. Well, he
Oh,
was,
cool.
he was eating lunch when he could have been doing.
Oh, the nerve.
Yeah.
nice.
Oh, wow.
That's neat.
I still think Rich was lucky coming up with the food in the last second. That was so good. Randy.
Oh yeah.
Sorry.
Wayne. Yeah, about what?
Places to maybe sell, how to sell boba.
Any updates on that?
No.
Yeah, 'cause it was
Just
something else
right
I
along
wanted
the
to
highway,
say.
I guess. It doesn't look like it crossed the highway,
Oh,
so.
I thought
I
it was
just
on
had
one
a
side.
spare minute.
That must be just the one.
Nice
bus
turnaround.
car that's-
Wow.
Yeah, I
Too
think so.
busy filling out my UBCM thing.
First day out, yeah.
Sure.
It's sure bringing a lot of ash and smoke.
There's a fire right on the border.
I saw that.
Do we have to build time for that?
Yeah. Except for
Yeah,
probably
exactly.
I'll go to
That's
him and
why I
explain
go.
that.
Yeah.
They'll say that that's from one of these.
Yeah,
Right.
right.
Family was out there and then in the Blaine Lake and then.
You're so good.
Yeah.
That's what's happening.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I need some clarification.
It's 900 hectares, that's
Randy.
pretty good size.
Yeah, good idea. Oh, yeah. Let me make sure
Randy.
mine is too.
I will talk to him about it after. It's okay.
Yeah, I've done that too.
Wish I could figure out.
I have
No.
volume on mine, so.
It says UBCM registration, I just need clarification. It's okay, I can ask him later. Anyway.
Not bad.
Sophie coming home?
She will be
Oh,
in
yeah.
tomorrow. She took one day midweek.
What did you do?
Like she took a week off, but she was here every day. Like she takes time off
Oh,
and comes in, so.
Sure.
There we are. It's half of us.
It's gonna get hot in here.
I know. It was over here a minute ago. There's an attack more often. No kidding.
What'd you do to the screen, James?
Just coming back from the old Headley Road and came back on the highway. Not
Call the meeting to order. I want to acknowledge that the Similkameen Valley in which we learn, work, and organize is the ancestral, traditional, and unceded territory of the Similkameen people and home of the Upper Similkameen Indian Band. Can I get a motion to adopt the agenda?
So moved, Mr. Mayor.
Councilor.
Seconded.
Okay, Councilor Elliott McLean. All in favor? Carried. Adoption of the July 8th regular meeting of council minutes.
So move, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Willis.
Second.
Gould. Errors or omissions? All in favor? Carried. July 15th, Committee of the Whole minutes.
So moved.
Thank you. Gould.
Seconded.
McLean. Errors or omissions? All in favor? Carried. Petitions and delegations, we have 3. Carrie, you're up first.
Sure, I'm everybody's favorite person now. I'm gonna have to make a bold assumption just because delegations occur prior to discussions. My bold assumption is that staff is going to indicate that all questions have been answered in relation to water meters. There are multiple items of correspondence that were sent prior to the deadline for receipt of same. They were not included in the agenda. There are still questions that have not been answered. So I would just like to urge the mayor and council specifically to consider carefully what the administrative record will show if the bylaw is adopted today. Residents raised concerns. Correspondence was received by the town on July 13th and July 14th, but was excluded from the July 22nd agenda and deferred until after adoption, should adoption occur today. The town's substantive response to my April 17th letter came 2 days before the meeting, 3 months after I sent it in. And the response was that a number of assessments commonly relied upon to support significant regulatory decisions were not completed. Residents have not been provided a meaningful opportunity to review, assess, or respond to the town's admission before council is asked to make a final decision. So if council proceeds with adoption today, the public record will show that council was aware of these concerns, aware of the omissions, aware that residents had not been provided a meaningful opportunity, and nevertheless chose to proceed. The issue is no longer whether council has authority to regulate water service. The issue is whether council can demonstrate that it exercised that authority in a manner consistent with transparency, procedural fairness, informed decision-making, and reasonable public accountability. Once the bylaw is adopted, the question will no longer be whether these concerns were brought forward. The record will show that they will. For that reason, I respectfully submit that council should not proceed with the adoption of Water Regulations Amendment Bylaw 1067 until the correspondence, the town's response, and the identified evidence gaps have been formally considered as part of the public record, and residents have been provided a reasonable opportunity to review and comment on the information now being disclosed. The other issue with the bylaw is that it imposes fines, and the fines bylaw has not been amended. So it imposes an imaginary amount of fines, which these bylaw amendments should be considered together. That's all I got.
Amanda?
Thanks for letting us speak today. I am again here as a homeowner, taxpayer, and resident who wants Princeton to succeed. I support responsible water management and infrastructure planning. My concerns are not about water meters themselves. They are about governance and whether council has enough information to justify imposing permanent legal obligations on every homeowner. Bylaw 1067 is not a minor amendment. It creates mandatory installation requirements, expands enforcement powers, establishes new financial responsibilities that are unknown, and authorizes municipal action affecting private property. Decisions of this magnitude should be based on a complete understanding of their legal, financial, and practical impacts. One important question remains. If this bylaw is necessary to provide the authority to complete the water meter program, why is that authority only being finalized after the program is well underway? That understandably raises concerns about process. We as residents have spent months reviewing documents, attending meetings, asking detailed questions. Unfortunately, information has often been released with, again, very little notice, limiting meaningful public participation, and most importantly, now the town's own written responses confirm that several key assessments have not been completed, including homeowner financial impacts, comprehensive risk assessments, cost-benefit analysis, insurance implications, privacy considerations, and plumbing impacts for legacy homes. These are not allegations. These are based on the town's own responses. Council has the authority to adopt this bylaw, but good governance requires more than authority. It requires demonstrating that decisions are informed, transparent, and supported by sufficient evidence. We are still asking reasonable questions. Based on the town's response, many of these questions remain unanswered. This is not about stopping the program. It's about ensuring the decision is supported by a complete evidentiary record before permanent obligations are imposed on every homeowner. Accordingly, I would respectfully also ask the council defer final adoption of the bylaw until key homeowner impact assessments, outstanding questions, have been completed, publicly released, and residents have been given a meaningful opportunity to review them, not 24 hours before. If council chooses to proceed today, I ask that the public record reflect that residents like I've repeatedly requested additional analysis, not to obstruct the program, but to strengthen the quality, defensibility, and public confidence of council's decision. In my opinion, the measure of today's decision will not simply be whether the bylaw was adopted. It will be whether council can demonstrate that it acted with complete information, careful consideration, and appropriate regard for the homeowners directly affected. Thanks for your time.
Thank you. Dave?
I'll go.
Hi everyone, my name is Dave Wojcichin. I'm speaking off the cuff, and I'm going to speak about two things that have been clarified for me. At the, I believe the last committee of the whole, they spoke about the pit meters and whether or not the pit meters could be whether or not the ones that were being installed inside the home could be used inside the pit. I thought that we were lied to about this, that meter could actually be installed in the pit, and I ran with it on Facebook. So I'm here to apologize that the information I thought I had gotten was incorrect. I spoke to Spencer today, and he actually told me that there's actually 2 types of meters now. I didn't know.
bylaw, yeah.
I'm sorry?
In the bylaw, it says there's 2 types, yeah.
Yeah, so I didn't clarify in the bylaw, so I apologize for running with this online. Secondly, I would like to speak to the aging infrastructure inside these homes, and us only having time between now and December to get these things in. I spoke to an elderly woman last week, and she was in tears. She thought that she was going to be fined daily because people are telling her you're going to get a daily fine if you don't get this done. But she has such aging infrastructure inside of her home. She's going to have to get her entire house replumbed in order for this thing to get installed inside the house. And it would be devastating for an elderly person in this town, especially if you're on a budget. So I don't believe that this should be running through this fast. We have time before these meters actually are going to be used. 28, is that right? Before you're actually using the data from them. So can we not get an extension on this? Maybe, maybe find a way to help these people out that have this aging infrastructure. I don't know more to say. Next thing is, so since now we know that we can now put these things in a pit at our property line, there's no longer a need for there to be an easement into our homes, which is also your last bit of privacy you have, right? There's no more necessary easement into your homes to have these meters installed. Is there going to be a drawing available for us that we can present to a plumber to actually have these things installed in a pit with specifications on what's required for a crib, what's all of this stuff? Because I never saw that in those things. That's all I have, really.
Thanks, we'll get clarity on that. Thank you. Move to staff report 6.1, fire truck, James.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. For council's consideration today is requesting a change in a resolution back in 2024, authorizing the purchase of a new fire truck for the municipality. There were 2 change orders that were approved back in 2024, increasing the price from $649,903 to $656,451. To the best of my knowledge, there was no approval to increase the resolution. The money is in the financial plan, however, to authorize the payment because the fire truck is ready this week. We ask that council amend the resolution. The fire chief is here to speak on the technical modifications to the original bid, if council so chooses.
So the money's in the budget, we just need to approve spending of the money that's in the budget. Okay. Questions?
That was gonna be my question, was if there was a change to the financial plan, but, no.
It's already been incorporated in the financial plan, but the resolution originally was not changed.
Right.
Okay. Council's wish.
I move to
Buy a fire truck.
proceed with that, yeah. Buy that fire truck.
Finish paying for the fire truck. Okay, Councilor Elliott, second. Councilor McLean. Any last questions? I have one. When do we get it once we pay?
I believe, Chief Bank, that was Friday, right?
Depending on the road.
Hard to find here, correct?
Yes. Friday delivery.
Okay.
Perfect.
Call the question. All in favor? That is carried. Thank you. Council reports. I'll start with Councilor Willis.
Other than the regular meetings, I attended the trade show. I thought I saw you up there, and yeah, I thought it was a good attendance from from what I saw, and it was interesting. Lots of people all around town that weekend, so it was good.
Thank you.
That's my report.
Councillor Gould?
Yep. I have no other meetings to report or any information, so.
Thank you. Councillor McLean?
Other than the Quasi buying a new bus, I have some comments I'll be making later on during the meeting.
Okay.
That's everything.
Councillor Elliott?
Aside from work and some of my volunteer work, I've got nothing to report.
Okay. I did give an update at the last committee of the whole, but I'll give another one. So Thursday last week, the Minister of Emergency Management, the Deputy Minister and the Assistant Deputy Minister came to town. The Regional Director, myself, Fire Chief Maureen, Jared, and Ed met with them. We gave them information on the dike, just because we never got the funding, so again, asking for funding on that, and because, and then some other infrastructure projects that we need to be funded still. We gave them that. We gave them a quick walk through town, down in the Fenchurch area, just to show them the Fenchurch lift station and the BC Housing project that where it's no longer there. We've asked if she could put a good word in to get that moving forward, because we're still waiting on BC Housing to replace Silvercrest. And then we went up to the fire hall and had a discussion around emergency management, and they were super impressed at all the work that Princeton's done, and congratulated us and said keep up the good work. So it was a short visit. They were off to a number of other meetings, one in Headley and then off to Osoyoos for that evening. So and then Grand Forks for the opening of their, or the finalization of their flood control stuff. So I did attend the Saturday events, I guess we'll call it that. An amazing day overall. I went up to the trade show. There was the trade show up at the arena. There was a skateboard event up there. There was live music at the skate park. There was live music in the plaza during the daytime. There was a crafters market there. The Legion also had their 100th anniversary, so there was a pancake breakfast and a barbecue downtown with a market and a bunch of other activities happening down there. And then that evening there was live music at the town plaza. So a super busy day, super hot day, but it was people managed, and it was just a great day overall. And big congratulations to the chamber for putting on such a great event. I think that's all. We are working on a meeting with Minister Waterland to discuss, again, more projects. We're waiting for permitting on some projects that are holding up the DFA funding because and that program's coming to a close, so we need the permits to be able to finish those projects. So kind of stuck in a bureaucratic web there. I think that's all I have to report on this last week. We will go down to number 10, bylaws and resolutions. The water regulation amendment bylaw. Who wants to talk about that? Sure, Carrie.
Council gave first, second, and third reading to the water regulation amendment bylaw, and I'm requesting council to adopt it at today's meeting.
Questions? Council. Yep.
I've got a bit of a splurt here, but anyway, I want to start out with the fact that received a report from staff. Based on the information, these meters do not create a closed-loop plumbing system. Consequently, their installation does not require additional plumbing modifications, such as the installation of a thermal expansion tank. Homeowners are responsible for ensuring that their interior main water shutoff valve is operational so that the water supply can be isolated in the event of an emergency. As part of the water meter installation process, the water supply must be temporarily shut off. This provides an opportunity to identify any existing shutoff valves that are defective or leaking. And it's my understanding that when installers encounter faulty shutoff valves during the installation process. They are replacing them as required. Older plumbing systems, including galvanized steel pumping and poly-P piping, should be assessed and replaced based on their condition and the homeowner's insurance requirements. The installation of these water meters does not in itself trigger any requirement under the British Columbia Plumbing Code or the Town of Princeton bylaws for a whole house plumbing upgrade or replacement. I want to mention that 50% of the 161 municipalities in British Columbia already have water meters. In Princeton, we use 6 times the average of every other municipality. 6 times the water of the average municipality. In my rental home, when they came to hook up, they found out that there was a water line broken outside the house. In other words, that water was running constantly, day in, day out, until they found it as a result of the water meter installation. I and all council members have listened to and read all submitted information, whether it is in today's agenda or not. I've listened to the legal jargon relating to required bylaws. Did I understand it all? I don't have to. I have corporate municipal staff and municipal legal guidance to interpret it all. As far as I'm concerned, as a councillor for Princeton, it is my responsibility to move this bylaw forward. If I have faith in the people that we pay to guide us, I don't have a choice. Thank you.
You can confirm that our legal team has reviewed and approved everything on?
Yes, yeah. We're very confident in the legal portion of it. It was reviewed by Lidstone, a major partner in Lidstone, and then it was actually written by another senior member of Lidstone. And Lidstone, of course, wrote the community charter, so we know that it aligns with the community charter.
Thank you.
Okay. I have one question, Jared. When to Dave's point about the where the pit goes and all that would all be something that the town works out with the plumber, or how does that work?
Yeah, a pit meter can just go at property line, and it can be either on the private side or the public side. It can just be worked out.
Okay. Okay.
The specifications.
The specifications in the bylaw just show the actual pit itself. It doesn't speak of any excavation or shoring or anything like that. Typically, you're looking for a 5-foot bury meter pit.
Just so it's below the frost line?
That's correct.
Okay. 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 Any other comments, questions? Yeah.
I do have some comments. So the downside to the delegation is you're speaking to us. We don't get to have back and forth. We don't get to answer your questions as you're asking them. So if there's a clarity while you're speaking, we can't. That's kind of not the process. So what I did want to just get confirmation that the requests from, I believe it was a May agenda, was responded to as mentioned by the 2 speakers today, but just this week. So my question was whether we could defer or should defer for 2 weeks for that information to be in there, as well as all the responses, because from what information I've been given and assurances is that the concerns have been addressed and staff have done their due diligence, and we are going on that. I'm trying to think of the right word. We're relying on that expertise and the interactions with the professionals that they've had. And my understanding is those questions have been given, answered. They've been answered. They've been addressed. So I'm just not, my request was that we could defer it and put it all together on the agenda because it was denied to be on to this agenda because of the lateness of it. Our agenda, I think, closes the week before. So that was my request. I did send an email to staff just asking, that would be my recommendation that we would do that, but that's not what the motion is. So, and I didn't read the proper process on Robert's Rules of Order, so I'm sorry.
They were received late though, right? And they will be made public?
Yeah, it'll be on the next agenda.
And all your answers.
Yeah.
They were
And-
received July 13th and 14th, which is a full week prior to the meeting,
Your request to,
have our correspondence added to the agenda.
but there was,
When was the agenda finished?
Pardon?
I wasn't here.
Yeah, I wasn't here either actually
And
last
neither
week.
was
so,
Jared.
Yeah.
yeah, and I'm not.
So then residents have to take responsibility for
Just 1 second, please.
vacations.
1 second, please. You said Thursday? What day did you say?
I sent them 13th, 14th, July 3rd.
And did you have a copy of that?
No.
No. Okay. Well, you guys make a decision. You make the
I'll make
motions.
motions tomorrow.
Motion to, what's the motion?
To proceed.
So you're making motion to adopt the agenda, or adopt the bylaw.
I'll second that, Mr. Mayor.
So we moved and seconded. So Willis, Elliott. Any last questions on, yep?
Follow up. So my request would be that we deferred so that the reason that I want it all there is so that the information's been provided. There's statistics that show the history of us getting to this point of water meters. And then unfortunately that I don't think is something that was shared originally, like how 20 years. That should become part of the record.
So, but I'm asking, are you making a motion to defer the motion to the next meeting?
I would like to make that
We
motion.
have a motion to defer this motion to the next meeting. Do we have a seconder to Councillor Gould's motion?
Beautiful. Beautiful.
I will ask another time if anybody will second it. Okay, so there's no seconder to the motion, so we go back to the original motion that is on the table. I will now ask for.
Can I speak the fact, I repeat again, every bit of information that has been submitted to us, every council member is aware of it, and every staff member is aware of it. I just want to repeat that.
Yep, I'm just following process. I'm trying to follow the process here. Don't get angry with me. So, we have a motion on the table. There was a motion to defer it. That was not seconded, so I go back to the original motion. I will now call the question on the original motion to pass or to adopt the bylaw. All in favor? Opposed? We have Councillor Gould opposed. That motion carries. Thank you. With that, I will now ask for a motion to adjourn the meeting, as there's nothing else on this agenda.
Move, Mr. Mayor.
Moved by Councillor Gould, Willis, all in favor? Carried, and we are now closed.